Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo, hello.
And folks, we're taking a look over here at Shchedrin for our next Steel Division Season 5 coverage of League play. Rang, I'm seeing some of your countrymen on here. Who are they fighting against?
Left hand side in blue, we have YueJin playing 17th Panzer Vanguard Division with a Vanguard income. On the right hand side in the red, we have Nilla playing 3rd Canadian with a Vanguard income. And we gotta take a look up north, because Nilla just did the classic napalm opener with a mosquito napalm bomber. A very cheesy play, but he is going, as you see by his deck list, extremely heavy in A phase. He's A phase or bust, baby, it seems.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing too is there's this Willy HMG rush, which is hysterical. We don't get to see this very often, and when we do, it's this hell bent for leather charge. Yeah,
Nilla just really wants to show off his release.
That took me a second. Oh, jeez. Volksdeutsche over here gonna get hammered. At least until the Martyrs come up and the Stokes come in as well. But I would not be surprised. Oh, wow. Actually, the Volksdeutsche, I always forget, are actual troops. I mean, they're air sats with better weaponry.
Yeah.
But they're good.
Yeah, they're, like, not bad, apart from the fact you are still disheartened and they do get pinned down faster. The Martyrs are gonna... Like, yeah, the napalm does dissipate in time for the Martyrs to push up, so these releases are about to be rather surprised very shortly.
Well, there's two Shermans coming up behind him, so...
Yeah.
The Willies, I don't think they're going to be hanging in the wind.
Yeah.
But regardless, they're going to probably get at least a couple of kills. Damn, those things are fast.
Yeah. Holy... I do love how he just relocates immediately. Doesn't even want to stay there for any potential fight. I'm rather interested why YueJin brings so much armor up north immediately at the start of the match. He doesn't have a lot of recon or infantry currently to back him up.
Well, now he doesn't.
Now he doesn't, and then the release are just going to relocate into the central position. Down south, things are actually very quiet, as both sides are probably micro-intense up north, just trying to, push one another.
Well, Legionary over here as well. I don't know if I would be quite this aggressive with these Willies against Legionary in green cover.
Yeah, they do have the range advantage at least, because Legionaries don't have a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
The MG42 is going to, well, change that up a bit. But it's still a pretty good push here. I mean, its match right now is just following the release, but they've actually been relocated to a good position. Nilla's moving in the Rifleman, and then if he can capture his hill, that's a pretty big early game advantage. And he's gonna need it, because the way he has his deck set up, he needs to win in like the first 20 minutes, or he's gonna have a bad time when C-phase hits, because YueJin actually brought C-phase unit.
Which is weird to think. I mean, what kind of commander brings C-phase units here in
Steel Division?
1v1?
The game without a time limit. Yeah, it's a very risky proposition how Nilla is playing, but I'm curious to see if it will play out for him, because the Northern Post has definitely been stifled with that Martyrs Stug battle group at least. And it is still 12-12, so Nilla needs to try and be grabbing some flags. He is pushing a little bit down south here, or engaging with
Yes,
rifles.
it's very tentative. I mean, the Sherman 3 is good, but when you have Legionary, those Death's Head fanatical troops are absolutely awful to fight against.
Yeah, you just cannot do the classic off-map artillery and then surrender them, because they just won't surrender.
But I guess when you think about it, they hold exactly as much territory as they need to. They got the 2 flags in that town.
Yeah. Which is what you need. There's no point really pushing up further. It's a very bloody cost to try to get that last flag in the town. And then the other 2 flags deeper into enemy lines, you're just not going to get, yeah?
Yeah.
They're pointless. Excellent flag placement there, YueJin.
I mean, they're not pointless, they're just unnecessary.
Yeah, you're just not gonna... Like, there's a lot of flags in this map, as you can see, where they're deep into enemy lines, and you're just never gonna capture them. So really only fighting over half of the flags in most matches. Yeah, I mean, YueJin's still doing pretty good with his northern battle group here. He's bringing in even more Stooks, and those are pretty nasty to fight against. So not as good as the Panzer 4s, mind you, but they can still provide to be a pretty tough opponent against Shermans.
And don't worry, we have the potential to see as many as 12 of those here, so that's going to be deadly enough. I love the fact that it's like, okay, quick, call in the 6-pounders. We have basically 18 pounds worth of anti-tank gun shells coming in. Actually, no, excuse me, 30 as 2 more are getting ordered in as well. Add in a couple of Sherman DDs, but I don't care how many you bring, that's still a beastly armored force to fight against.
Yes, it is. It really is. And they're going to be unloading them out in the open, so they could probably get a kill or 2 each, but I mean, it's going to only take a few shots to stress them out. And yeah, Nilla's like hill position's looking a little bit more tentative as the rifles are getting separated. And here comes the Mozzie.
Yeah, but he's looking for the Volksdeutsch. He's not looking to kill the actual vehicles.
I think he tried to kill the leader actually, which he does manage to do, but doesn't get any vehicle kills. But you're not really going to with napalm. Oh, 6-pounders though in the forest in a lovely position to just catch everything out in the open.
Indeed. Actually, I hadn't even seen them come up over here and defilade. We are going to see that finally an ME-109 going after the... No, he's not going after the Mozzie. What the deuce was that? Okay, I guess he's worried about the head-to-head.
Yeah.
And the Stug battle group is getting torn to shreds, so we may have to rethink our earlier prognosis here.
Yeah, Nilla really just took him to Pound Town.
That was a perfectly executed ambush. I mean, a bit of a moving ambush to be sure.
Yes.
But that was a very, very deft parry. I really do tip my hat to you, sir. Well done, Nilla.
Yeah, it was a good run, and he still has a hold on that hill position, managing to kill the reinforcements. As Legionaries, they're going to be a bit of a pain to route out, but you're Canadians, you have a lot of riflemen that you can spam.
Canadians.
It's an entire division. It's just rifle spam and Shermans.
Exactly. Now, I am looking over here to see what the artillery response to this is, because that's really what we should be having here, right? Call in stovepipes, suppress those AT guns.
Or call in flying artillery from Stukas here to try and knock out the 6-pounders.
That's right, and the Canadians don't have anything here. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he has AA and A phase, but he has none on the field. You know, I guess it's going to change very shortly after you Stukas bomb the 6-pounders here. And as he gets to do the loop-de-loop.
Completely unbothered by ground fire. That is so strange for I would say a bazooka, but a Stuka here. Now down to the south, we are going to see. It looks like the Legionari are moving in themselves. No, we are seeing some support of fire from across the river. I wonder if this could be the sign of a YueJin push in the town. He's got to do it soon. The rifles are going to start to get rather entrenched.
Yes, he does. And those Legionaries are very good in CQC firefights. They got semi-automatics, they got the submachine guns, they got bloody Molotov cocktail. They're very nasty, and especially just against rifles. Rifles are really bad at CQC. The only real upside is just having lots of them.
It certainly is. But again, and there's always the pun that, you know, the more people you have, the easier it is to kind of screw it up. But rifles, I mean, the biggest issue with that, there still is no AT on them, which is the one reason that just kills me about the Canadians. I love their spunk, I love their enthusiasm, I love their maple syrup, but I don't like their infantry.
Yeah, it's really annoying playing certain divisions which don't have infantry AT, because it works really well until the point your opponent brings in just an armored car, and you're going, oh, all my guys are dying to just a single autocannon, and the dude with the PI is dead. I guess I die now.
Exactly. I mean, this town fight down in the south, I mean, this is mildly amusing from an aesthetic standpoint, because this is screw the vehicles. I mean, we had one Sherman and they got hit by a Shrek. Outside of that, I mean, there's another Sherman kind of prowling around the edge. He'll get dealt with in a second as the Pak-38s and the 233s and the Stug all engage him. But we just have this constant, you know, foot slogging kind of attrition warfare.
Yes, and yeah, speaking on the anti-tank lackluster for Nilla's infantry, like a 233 in the town, or where he only has a stuck, he doesn't have a lot of real armor to take advantage of a town fight like this, which is actually a good bonus here for Nilla.
Well, I'm just trying to do some rough calculations here too. So pretty much He lost 6 or 7 AT guns already, so he's lost at least 2 cards. Yeah, he's now got 13 as a potential call-in. At most, he's got 13 rather, but that's still not what you want to be saying. You don't want to be saying, well, I think if I lose enough AT guns slowly enough, I should be able to be okay. Like, you want to be a little more, let's say, positive facing.
Yeah, he has lost quite a lot, but yeah, I do forget how much AT guns they get. There's all those 6-pounders. And yeah, all these taking 6-pounders, you do have options of taking, what's it called, 17-pounders, and I believe you get Achilles as well, but he's just opting for more medium anti-tank gun spam. That's actually a pretty good strategy, as those 6-pounders are very deadly. Yes, they can't really kill tigers or panthers at long range, but most of the time you're just blowing Panzer IVs and stouts and other things, so you might as well just, you know, get the cheap option. And they are cheap at only 50 points, and good availability to boot.
Well, we don't have I don't have an Achilles in here, but we do have a Firefly. Yeah. And actually, just to kind of finish off that last thing, just before this Firefly comes up and kills this 233 to the north, because you know that's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't feel too grateful for Nilla really so far. I mean, Rowan just started into B phase, and he still has a good advantage, but
it's fading fast.
Yeah, and he does not have the attrition to really last a long time. Like, he has 3 Fireflies in his higher division, and that's not a whole lot. And like you've seen with the decks, he has nothing at C phase. So he's gonna have to try and make something major happen. And he really can't afford to lose the southern town position, but I don't feel like that's going to happen, as YueJin's been pretty, like, tentative down there. Not really making anything, you know, not being too aggressive, is what I'm trying to say with many words.
Well, quick thing, we have a boat first that's engaging these Stukas here. Well, the Stukas are still able to press the target, and they take out 2 more squads.
Yes, they do.
Now, the thing I was going to mention here is that I understand the just to kind of piggyback what you were saying before, I do understand the 6-pounder play. It makes a lot of sense because you know that a lot of the material that you're fighting against in the first place is not going to be particularly killy. And really, 17 pounders, I feel like, what, even in B and C, I think you get, what, like 2 and then 4 on a card?
Something like that. Yes, that sounds reasonable. Yeah, that does sound about right.
And what are you really getting on the back end of that? Like, okay, cool, I got another 35 penetration, but, like, I don't need the penetration.
No, you just need to... And the 6-pounder has a pretty good fire rate as well.
Exactly.
Which is very beneficial. Especially due to how the accuracy works, because the more you shoot at a target, the more accurate you become. So, there's a 6-pounder, you'll probably be more accurate faster with it compared to a 17-pounder. But don't completely quote me on the math of that. That's just me making a hypothesis, not an estimated guess during a live cast. But I do like his Firefly fan club, Northill. I mean, he doesn't really have much recon to support it. He has rifles on the hill, but they don't have great line of sight. He's going to run into that 233 though, and I don't think 233 is going to really enjoy that.
But he's going to engage the Stug though instead, because the Stug is a high priority target.
Yeah, 233.
Now he's going to engage the 233.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he has no longer a 233, but if he can keep that Firefly, you know, I don't think for too long he has a cluster bomber trying to come in.
No.
Nope, he's not going to...
Oh no, he is? What the heck is going on here?
Kills it. He gets the kill, so
and
that's 1 Firefly.
And he gets the pin on the boat first too. I mean, he shreds that their morale.
Yeah.
Yes, the M109's going to get hurt quite a bit getting off the map, but that's a worthwhile trade. I'll take that. You know what? That's fine.
The Firefly does manage to snipe a Stug at long range, so yeah, the hill position for Fireflies is definitely going to come in pretty clutch. They are going to be taking some long-range fire from a Flak 88 here. And yeah, I mean, Nilla has a good defensive position still, like, holding the northern hills important. The middle hills are still under his control, and he still has town, so he can hold. Whether for 17 minutes, I don't think so. He needs to get, like, another flag right now. He needs to make a push happen, but I don't really see anywhere where it could, like, majorly happen.
He's being helped out by the fact that YueJin is being uncharacteristically quiet here in the south. We're finally seeing a little bit of movement here, as he kind of micros a squad up, a squad up, a squad up. But there's going to be a big push happening soon. You can actually almost feel the death on the air.
Yeah. Yeah, if YueJin can just disrupt his southern position, I mean, he also can still just kind of hold, play for time and attrition, and still probably win the match. But yeah, if he completely captures his southern town, get those 2 flags, I feel like he'll have this hook, line, and sinker.
No, here's the counterpunch that really matters, because there's a 15-9 up front. Look at the north with that rifle's kind of redeploying. They have to make another push on this hillside, and they have enough firepower to do it.
Yes, he has the Shermans backing them up. There's no real anti-tank on the hill here from YueJin, just a bunch of, rather disheartened Volksdeutsche. And, yeah, this could go really well for Nilla. Like, if he can capture this hill, that's a pretty huge advantage to have.
The one thing that I think he kind of missed out on, he being YueJin, is that he's bringing a 122 to the north, and I think that would have been a much better position to the south. Hit the town, you pick up 2 flags, you stop the bleed, and you put yourself in really great stead as the last minutes of B take over to C.
Yeah, it definitely would have been very useful in the town just for pounding away at that infantry.
But I do like this fallback. This fallback is a nice call. You're not losing anything by letting them up onto the slope itself. Let them get in and close, and then just absolutely destroy them.
Yeah, just try to catch them out in the open with your machine gun firepower. YueJin, he really needs to try and secure that hill as soon as possible. He is bringing in some SS Legionaries and a battery Fuhrer, but no real armor or anti-armor pieces, and that's what he really needs. Or he's pushing down south finally.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is, and he's having the success you'd expect pretty quickly.
Yeah, those Legionaries are just deadly with those Molotov cocktails, man.
Yeah, man, put a bottle in my hand. If I could let it on fire, I'm sure it'd be pretty deadly too. But and there's no leaders down here. I didn't realize there's no leaders. So everybody who's pinned down is a potential surrender.
Yeah. And as you see, the rifles at close range just perform very poorly.
Well, not for nothing. I mean, they're probably better served if we gave them Stens as opposed to those Bren guns, but, to each their own.
Yeah, I know the Canadians do get access to stormtroops, but I don't think it really would have helped out all that much in this. Well, they have satchel charges, I believe, so
yes, they do.
It would have been a bit better, but only a 5-man SMG team.
Also true.
And I personally find that the smaller 5-man teams and SD2, stormtroopers and whatnot, just don't perform that great. Really, they get killed too quickly.
And that's the thing. And I know you and I have kind of theory crafted about this, both on cast and off cast. I can't help but wonder that a 5-man squad will always be less effective than a 10-man squad. Literally every single time. And I mean, yeah, go ahead, please.
No, it's like if you're seeing with Hungarians. Hungarians very good because they got big beefy squads. Yes, it's mainly just riflemen, but it's just about having numbers really in SD2 with your infantry squads for the most part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the Canadians continue their rather hefty struggle here. They have lost both of the flags to the south. And they picked up one to the north. They picked up that slope on the north. Oof, that's not a good sign over here for YueJin. But he at least is delaying death for another couple of minutes here.
Yeah, and it's only down to 12 minutes now for Nilla. So I'd say, I think with just this plus 1 bleed, especially with how Nilla's pushing, he might be able to really secure it, because by the time it gets to the 12 minutes, it would be only 30 minutes into the match, only 10 minutes into C phase. So I think he will have just enough to last into that. I just don't feel like if it goes back to a trove for too long, he's gonna be buggered.
I do think YueJin is trading territory he doesn't have, though.
Yeah.
I do love these phase withdrawals, but I don't like the fashion in which it's kind of being done, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I think his real detriment up north is he just doesn't have any stugs. He needs those stugs to be trading efficiently to keep us. It's really just the central position is going down mainly due to the rifles and the Shermans, and some stugs or anti-tank guns. Yeah, definitely could have blew up the Shermans, and the rifles can't do anything because they don't have anti-tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like a downfall of like 17th, because you don't have. You're really just relying on Starks. You do have good anti-tank. They have the Jagdpanzers actually, never mind. I mean, as we've seen in the last cast, Jagdpanzers are some of the best goddamn tanks in this game.
They certainly are. They certainly are. Actually, I'm kind of surprised looking at the text as you know, the Shermans continue to pound down on a Flak 88, and these Legionnaires get themselves ready to receive some Iron Rain. I am surprised by the rather underutilization of the artillery tab. Is that because he was going so heavy with that kind of strange opening, or what, do you think?
For Nilla?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think because he was trying pretty hard of just wanting to get as many frontline units out. They're using. He does have, you know, a few of these ram off maps being brought in, and they've been used pretty effectively to pin down these Flak 88s, and now the third barrage coming in to pin down the what's left of infantry on the hill for YueJin. Yeah. So he's making it count.
Sure.
He is making it count. And we're down to a 2+ again here for Nilla, as he does manage to re-secure the town position just with good use of Humber Mark IIIs and Shermans.
I think these Jagdpanzers right here should be driving south, move them across the actual river, and at this point, yeah, I mean, the worst you have to worry about is a single Sherman 3, and you've got to know that you outclass everything that remains of your opponent's armor.
Yeah, you really need to get those Jagdpanzers into the fight, because I think they're gonna be what will clutch it for YueJin, especially if he can fight over that hill position. Like, you knock out the Shermans on the hill, I mean, you can just, you pretty much retake the hill. It's really just down to that one Sherman, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And up north, the Sherman at long range is not having a good time being engaged by multiple anti-tank guns, or was multiple.
He also had a couple other friends there too. Unfortunately, the friends have decided to return to the Great Motor Pool in the sky. I don't understand the investment of a lot of Shreks over here to the south. Maybe you can help me understand that one.
I guess he wants to just try to blow up the Shermans and Humbers, yeah, because you knock them out and he can engage efficiently with the infantry. Once again, he's not really spending the points and getting armor down south. They're just mainly focusing on infantry, which I get in the current predicament, because he really needs more of the armor up north here. But Nilla is just continuing on the pressure, spamming rifles to try and get into that northern position. And if he can hold out position with rifles, even just temporarily, that'll give Nilla a lot of breathing room.
True. It's very, very true. But 3 minutes until midnight over here for YueJin. And I'm surprised that we also haven't seen any kind of control, you know, attack move orders here. Yeah,
he really needs to try and secure out southern town. That's really YueJin's best bet into stopping his +2 bleed. And I think he's going to be... those SS Legionaries are going to be brought into the central position to try and take back that hill, which is also what he needs to do. And he is finally moving up his Jagdpanzers to try and trade with the Shermans.
Yeah, such as they are, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Bizarrely enough, if he takes out the Bofors, he might have enough air power on hand, except for that Junkers, to force the northern front.
Yeah, he's managing to actually pin down a lot of those rifles, yeah, and that choke point of the artillery, and also just the ungodly amount of Flak 88s he's using. But, yeah, I think I thought we were going to see a southern push here with the infantry. Oh, no, he is moving up again, down south with the Legionaries. If he can... A Sherman did go down.
Yes.
Yeah, he did manage to Shrek it, so...
And the Humber's still there, never mind.
Yeah. He can still kill... The Humber shouldn't be too much of an issue if he manages the micro efficiently, but... He might be able to take back his southern town position, which would be a huge benefit for YueJin here. Yeah, gets one flag. He gets a second.
Yes.
Yes. And there's only 2 rifle squads in there and a rather lonely armored car. And now we're 25 minutes into the game. It went back to a trove. And I think this is the time when Nilla's really starting to hurt in terms of activation. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's actually what I was going to say, is that, 25 minutes in, I don't know how many Canadians are left to give their life for Commonwealth and country here.
Yeah, you only have so many riflemen, and he's been losing a lot of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
yes, he has.
At least 3 more and a leader being brought into the south. There's a rather desolate, lonely, desolate Sherman over here to the north. And we're indeed, these rifles are not able to get into the tree line up here in the middle hill, and that's going to prove their undoing, as the Legionari are just going to carve them to shreds.
Yeah.
Which is funny, most of these Legionaries are just literally single-man squads.
Yeah, they only have the semi-auto rifles, which isn't actually great firepower at long range. Rifles have a good chance, but they have 2-star veterancy, and they're in cover, so that really evens the playing field.
Yeah, very much a Rambo moment for them, I imagine.
Yeah. But yeah, Trove, this is giving YueJin very much needed breathing room, and hey, you can just blow up the rifles with long-range artillery, which also is a good idea.
Oh, absolutely. Take out the 6-pounder to the north as well. You could even potentially pick up another flag up there.
Yup. And then down south, Nilla is trying to push hard to take back this town, but he only has so many rifles. It's really coming down to Humber keeping him here. I think that Humber was to go down, he will have a very hard time dealing with the horde of angry Italians and Germans.
Well, the kind of, I'm not going to say funny thing, but the kind of strange thing is there's so many of these Peakerens are just swarming in here as well.
Yeah.
And more are being thrust over here in the center. So, this hillside in the center, it is a 12-12 down south. He's lost one of those? No. I would have thought there was, maybe 13-11. Oh, geez. So this is that tight struggle over here on that hillside.
Oh, yeah. Nilla just needs to hold for 3 minutes this hill. 2 Jagdpanzers being brought in. There's no anti-tank to deal with them nearby. That Ram OP wishes it was a regular Ram with a 6-pounder, but alas, he is not. And the 6-pounder himself is not in a good position.
No, he's not. And this reinforcement column of Peakerens that was calling up before, 6 more squads. It's going to be enough to get a 12-12 back again. And with that, actually, we're also seeing another push in the south. So the Legionari have been allowed to stop fighting for half a second, and the Peakerens are just going to start just destroying these rifles.
Yeah, the Humber has fell into a rather nasty trap of running out of ammunition, so he's completely useless now. You are seeing Staghounds AA and Sherman being brought in to try and stem the tide, and that should be able to hold things off for a bit, because there's no real long-range AT. Even just a single Jagdpanzer in this town would make such a huge difference here for YueJin.
It would, but he's holding the territory he needs to. He's got to get that center thing, though. Yeah, he really needs to get that back under control. It's just coming down to, like, frontline cheese array, where he's just trying to barely holding onto that flag, and there's just a few riflemen nearby here. And also, he's getting his 6-pounders into a pretty sneaky position. If he can knock out his Jagdpanzers, I don't think YueJin's gonna have a very good shot of taking back this hill. We got 2 minutes to find out. Why did he deploy his Peakerens so...
Oh, I think because the 6-pounders were sniping that road, as you can see.
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's a very sneaky move there from Nilla, but it's going to pay off by delaying those reinforcements by just a few minutes, which is all Nilla needs.
Oh dear God, just attack, move with everything. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah, he needs to just try and secure something. I mean, he can't really secure anything down south, and then, he might be able to get that flag by the bridge.
He absolutely could. Yes, he would take crazy losses to do it, but he's got 60 seconds to death. You gotta do something.
He's so close to getting that flag on the hill, but the artillery's not really coming in clutch here. The battery Führer gonna be leading the ray. I think he's just going to tip it.
There you go.
Yes, he does, giving YueJin the breathing room, but Nilla's gonna be during the large counterattack here with 2 rifles, a Sherman, a 6-pounder, a Bofors, a whole, menagerie of Canadian, reinforcements here. But yeah, he just needs to kill the battery fuel. I mean, the Jagdpanzer, he's backing off. I mean, yeah, like you said, Khan, really just needs to be attack move and everything at this point.
He's got 3 squads of infantry up to the north. They've just been sitting there for the 4 squads, excuse me. Have been there for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
All these squads to the south. Now he's finally getting them into movement here. But this is a strike that's taken way too long to do.
Yeah. He definitely could have been a bit more aggressive down south in the town. But now with the reinforcements, all the stack counter, and Sherman, he ain't gonna be able to do much.
No,
he finally gets a stug here, but...
I'm sorry?
Yeah. He finally has a stug here down south, but it's too late. And yeah, Nilla's gonna take the victory just barely, yeah.
I thought we were heading for a C-phase, switcheroo.
Yeah. No. Huge, the 6-pounder ambush, on the road.
Yes.
Pretty much got Nilla the match. So very good job, and literally a 1,000-point difference between both sides. The perfect average.
Very, very true. Trying to see if there are any kind of real standouts here. Not too much. Got a couple of kills here and there. A couple of guys who got more to themselves. But when it comes right down to it, I mean, these fights, usually with the 3rd Canadian, or this one Flat Kid who's got 3 kills. Well, 3 decent ground kills and a couple of, foot sloggers. These fights, especially the 3rd Canadian, it's rare to see some crazy standout individual. You might see a Sherman, you might see a Firefly who's done really, really well, but the foot sloggers, they're there just to kind of agitate that dirt and to take it and just hold it. So
yeah, and Nilla just, he was probably just out of stuff by that point when the match ended, but it was just enough to get the victory, and well, the victory is all that really matters in the SD League.
Exactly. Any final thoughts, sir?
None today.
Well, and folks, in that particular case then, thanks so much for joining us over here with our coverage as we continue through Season 5 of the SD2 League. As always, come back next week for some more great replays. Until then, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.